Oh. Hi, everybody. My name is Karen Falkenstrom. I am the founder and director of Odaiko Sonora, which is Tucson's Taiko drumming group. Taiko, for those of you who don't already know, as I haven't told you, is Japanese ensemble drumming. It's kind of a cross between martial arts, team sport, and a community practice, and we did things with stick and make a lot of noise, so it usually goes over well. My co-teacher is Nicole Stansbury. We are known respectively as Lee Sensei and Nicole Sensei. I gave him a break because my last name is Falkenstrom. I thought Lee Sensei might be nicer. But in Japan, you generally call them by their last name and then honorific for Mr. and Mrs. Yuki-san. So Lee Sensei or Falkenstrom Sensei if I wanted to be cruel.
And my last name is really Stansbury Sensei. It's Cam. We're a little laid back.
Nicole Sensei. So we went with the first name. For those of you who've never seen Japanese drumming, I have a picture of our group up in Tucson there. It's basically a lot of fun, and you make a lot of noise. It's great for gathering people, and it's great for people of all ages. So we were really excited. I want to thank Angela and Jen. Where's Jen? Oh, there you are. For inviting us to come down, because we've never done a program down in Sierra Vista, and we hope to continue to come back for other camps. Meanwhile, tonight this afternoon is focused on the campers. We have worked them very hard. And they have learned an amazing amount in 4 days. We usually can't get this much out of kids in this short time. They came prepared to learn, and they were very receptive. So we got a lot done. After the performance, which is about a half an hour, maybe 25 minutes, you can come up and see some of the drawings that they did, some of the words they had to learn in Japanese, and if you have any questions, we'll be here to answer questions. But meanwhile, the way we're going to present what they've learned in the last 4 days is through a story. This is a story that Odaiko Sonora leaders wrote for our 10th anniversary, which was 5 years ago, because we're almost 15. And it's a story about a girl named Asako. And Asako saves her village using the Taiko drums. And you'll find out how she does this as we tell the story. I'll be the narrator, and the songs that the students have learned, or the campers, we're not students today, we're campers. Campers have learned songs that fit into the story and help move the narrative forward. So we are going to begin. Sorry. Scroll. All right, Asako. There we go. Asako, the girl who saved her village. Long ago, a young girl named Asako lived in a small Japanese village. The villagers grew rice and fish. They honored the kami that gave good fortune to the village, and they honored their families, their friends, and their neighbors. Asako loved two things. This is the village here. These illustrations, by the way, were done by a Tucson artist named Nadia Logan. Asako loved two things. She loved to walk in the hills with her little dog, Chio, and she loved to play the taiko with her friends. The big drums made a vibration that could be heard for many miles, Asako told Chio. It is said by the elders that the voice of the kami can be heard in the drum. Asako didn't know if that's true, but at least Shiro didn't seem to mind the noise. One day, as Shiro and Asako were walking in the hills, they suddenly heard an earthquake. They felt the strong vibrations of an earthquake.
Come on, hey.
Asako didn't worry too much. After all, earthquakes happen all the time in Japan. But afterwards, Asako noticed the air felt heavy and dark. The animals were acting strange, like monkeys were climbing as high as they could into the trees, and all the birds lifted up from the branches and flew away. Asako had never seen them act like this before, and it scared her. Suddenly, Chio grabbed Asako's sleeve and pulled. She pointed her little nose back down the hill towards the village and barked and barked and barked. Asako knew that something was very wrong, and she ran back to the village to tell someone. Asako found Saito-san by the water, staring out over wisest person in the village. As soon as she finished telling Saito-san what she'd seen, he became very worried. He had felt the earthquake and knew that earthquakes could cause a tsunami, a great wave that moves faster than the fastest bird, strikes more powerfully than 100 dragons. And when Asako told him about the animal's strange behavior, he knew that a tsunami was indeed on its way. "We have to get everyone up in the hills right away," he said to Asako. "But how can we do that when there's so little time?" Asako knew that Taiko would get everyone's attention, and fast. She called her friends together, and they played as loudly as they could.
Okay. My pick. So, wait.
Soon, the whole village was gathered. Whole families, old men and women, mothers and fathers, all with worry in their eyes. Saito-san told them what Asako had seen. He told everyone a tsunami was coming. He told them they had to get to high ground right away. The villagers didn't have time to pack anything. They ran for the hills with only the clothes on their back, stopping only to open their gates and sheds to let the few animals flee to safety too. As they ran, they could hear the giant wave approaching. And as they gained higher ground, they turned to watch the great wave crash ashore, moving with such speed and strength that within seconds, their entire village was covered with swirling, heaving water. spirit. They played it to celebrate. All the men and women of the village danced to the deep sound of the taiko. Watch this dance closely. You may need to do it.
So, hey!
Where they danced, they decided to make a shrine for the taiko. And a few weeks after the tsunami, as they were rebuilding their homes, they took time to make that shrine and place it at a high place in the hills. They placed the carved stones there, saying that this position was safe from the high winds and tsunami. If you go to Japan today, you can still see these stones. The villagers were rebuilding, but they were getting worried. The giant wave had washed away all their food. They weren't sure they had enough to feed everyone for the coming winter. Asako was worried too. She knew one of the best things to do when she was worried was to walk in the hills with Shiro. She began to feel better as soon as they climbed higher, and they climbed higher than they'd ever climbed before. Suddenly, Shiro ran ahead, barking madly. Asako ran to keep up with her little white dog. She followed Shiro through thick bamboo, over rocks, through streams, and she got more and more tired and nervous. Just when she thought she couldn't go any farther, she saw Shiro stop up ahead, panting and wagging her tail, pointing with her nose. When Asako caught up, she saw why Shiro was so happy. There was a huge field of rice. There was enough rice to feed the entire village. She ran down back to the village with Shiro nipping and barking happily at her heels. She ran back to tell Saijo-san what she had found. The villagers were so happy when they heard about the hidden rice field in the hills that they carried Asako around in the village on their shoulders. They harvested the rice and knew they had enough food for the coming winter. And they celebrated the harvest with a festival. As with any festival, they played the taiko. This song is called Kodomo Matsuri, which means Children's Festival, and I want you to know that they've written their own solos.
Come on, hey!
we don't mind cold in Arizona. We mind what?
Copper.
We have designed a compromising dance for Arizona. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to dip. So you guys show me so, hey, dig, dig. Yeah, you dig to the right. And then we're going to take one of those big iron bars and we're going to pick the rock. So, hey, dig, dig. And because it's a Japanese dance, you get to do it twice. So if you mess it up the first time, you can get it right the second one. So do it again. So, dig it, pick. So, hey, dig, dig, and pick, and pick. Awesome. So what happens after you pick all these huge rocks out of the walls? You end up with all these rocks on the ground. You have to put them in a sack. And you throw that sack first over your right shoulder. Right. And then you throw it over your left shoulder. And then you throw them over your right shoulder. And you throw them over your left shoulder. So you get to do it over and over again until you get it right. So, and then the next move is you're sweaty because you just worked really hard. So you wipe the sweat from the right, and you wipe the sweat from the left, and of course you do it again because sweating is symmetrical. And then you have to push the cart full of your copper ore out of the mine. And then you're done. So it is time to party. And those are very simple moves. You're just walking along in a circle as you do it. Just step to the beat. We're going to keep a beat for you, and we're going to yell the moves out. I will lead the dance. And actually, why don't we have the adults come? We'll spread out. I don't need that thing. Spread out so that there's some adults between each kid, because the kids have learned this.
Yeah, we're going to go around the chairs?
Yeah, we're going to go
We're going around the chairs. So let's make a big circle camera. Some of you go that way.
Okay, so spread out between the cameras.
Some of you go to the left. Everybody, you just come right in front of the drum right here.
Big circle.
So come this way. And
Come
come
on, counterclockwise.
Follow you.
Come on.